Hi, Mr. Miller here, and I'm here to explain HI and DI, the solo acting events. Now, HI and DI are also called serious solo acting and humorous solo acting. So there are actually differences. For our purposes, there really aren't. But they'll be doing solo acting, which means they can act, move around, do stuff, and they get a chair. They get one chair and that's it. Okay, both events. Humorous, students will often and usually try to portray more than one character. So they'll be switching from one character to the next, and back and forth. And so some of the tips that you look for when you're trying to judge HI are, number one, how crisp are their changes? So, I mean, is it really obvious which character they are at any point in time? So if you told them to freeze and they went, then you could say, okay, that's the narrator, or that's the elephant, or that's Count Dracula, or whoever it's supposed to be. The voices need to be consistent. So if you're doing Count Dracula like this, and then you do it like this, those are two different voices. He should not, or she should not be doing that. The voice for Count Dracula should be consistent throughout, or the elephant, or whatever character they are doing. So the voices should be consistent. The changes between the characters needs to be sharp, distinct. It should be no effort on your part whatsoever to tell who's talking at any one point in time. It needs to be funny. And that's hard, because different people have different senses of humor, and what's funny for one person is not funny for the other. That makes HI, or humorous solo acting, a difficult event. So try to keep in mind, give them a little feedback. Hey, that wasn't funny, or I didn't find that funny, or that was really funny. Feel free to laugh. They want you to laugh. It's supposed to be funny. It's really hard to be funny when you got a judge sitting there and they're just grimacing at you and they're not smiling. We want you to laugh. So smile, pleasant, if you chuckle here and there, it makes it a whole lot easier on the kid. Okay? Finally, one trend that's gone on in humor solo recently is the main character learns something over the course of the piece. And so maybe the character at the beginning, has self-doubt, and they learn confidence throughout the piece, so they're more confident at the end. Or there's a question of, do they like X, right? And through the course, we learn they do like X. Like there's an HI one of our kids is doing this year, in which a young couple, the wife is pregnant, and he keeps talking about his boy, and then the whole concern is, what if it's a girl? And throughout the piece, then the climax, she gives birth to a girl, and the father is thrilled, and then, aha, we've learned something, yay, and boom. Okay? So, that's another thing to look for in HIs, or it's kind of a trend, is there actually any development or growth or change or learning going on the part of the main character? You don't want them static. You want them evolving. So, that's it. Hand gestures clear, everything's clear. Is it funny? DI. Now, DI, you can also have more than one character. And some DIs do have 2 or 3 or 4 characters. But, by and large, DIs are monologues anymore. They're one character talking. And so that's a big difference between the HI and the DI, is DIs, you can have that, and it does elevate the difficulty, but by and large it seems like anymore they're mostly monologues, one person talking. And they are serious, as you can probably guess, and they might try to have a little humor in it to kind of mix it up, make it, because boy, 10 minutes of, that's heavy, and so some add a little humor at the end, and then, try to get you at the end. Topics for DI, boy, cancer's good. unfortunately. You get a lot of serious illnesses, cancer, rape, unfortunately, child abuse, spouse abuse. There's serious issues that they pick. And so some judges will reward the kid who has a piece that's serious, but it's not a serious illness, or it's not physical abuse. It's not death. And I tend to be one of those. You don't have to be. It may be that you see 6 DIs and they're all about death and you don't have a choice. The winner is going to be about death. But that's something to keep in mind as well. So, for the DI, is it serious? Is it believable? Or do the feelings seem genuine versus forced? Are they forcing the emotions? Are they yelling all the time? Yeah, that's what I tell the DIs is I don't want 10 minutes of yelling at me. Don't yell. You can get emotional, but without yelling. And a lot of times it can be more powerful if the kid is quiet and they pause to get their point across rather than yelling. And a few years ago we had a round at state, finals round at state, in which 5 kids threw a chair. Some point in their piece they threw a chair, because that's what you do in DI nowadays, you throw a chair. And the one kid who didn't throw a chair ended up winning first place. So you try to be original, and that's tough to do nowadays, but try to reach for it. Generally people tend to reward originality. So that's HI and DI in a nutshell, and thanks for judging. I hope you enjoy those.